High Admiral Vexthor of the Zendari Collective stood motionless before the massive holographic display, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the soft blue glow of Earth rotating peacefully below their cloaked warship. His second-in-command, strategic analyst Linka, approached with visible concern etched across her bioluminescent features. "High Admiral, I must report something disturbing," Linka began, her neural tendrils pulsing with anxiety. "We've been monitoring Earth's global communications for 3 standard cycles now, and their response to our probe signals is, well, there hasn't been one." Vexthor's compound eyes shifted patterns, indicating his confusion. "Clarify. They must have detected our presence. Their primitive technology couldn't have missed 17 probe signals." "That's just it, sir. They detected them. Their scientific communities logged the signals, confirmed their artificial nature, and then, Linka's tendrils dimmed slightly, they turned it into something called a trending topic on their social media platforms. They're using our first contact attempts as background music for something called dance videos." The High Admiral's crystalline structure vibrated with disbelief. "Show me." The holographic display shifted to a rapid succession of Earth broadcasts. Millions of humans were indeed creating elaborate choreographed dances to the rhythmic patterns of the Zendari probe signals. Hashtags like #AlienBeats and #CosmicGroove dominated their information networks. "This is impossible," Vexthor muttered. "We are the Zendari Collective. We have conquered 17 star systems. Civilizations tremble at our approach. They should be mobilizing their military, not, 'What is that human doing?' According to the caption, sir, she's teaching her pet cat to dance to our invasion signal. It has accumulated 7.2 million likes." The High Admiral's exoskeleton creaked as he paced the command deck. The Zendari had spent decades studying Earth before initiating first contact. They had expected either terror or desperate diplomatic overtures. Instead, humanity seemed to be treating their arrival as entertainment. "What of their military response?" Vexthor demanded. Linka's neural tendrils twisted uncomfortably. "Their military organizations did issue statements, sir. The most shared one reads, 'Lol, if aliens want to drop the hottest beat of 2525, who are we to complain?' #intergalactic call-up. Their weapon systems, their defensive preparations, they appear to be using their satellite networks primarily for something called streaming services. Their most advanced AI systems are being employed to recommend videos and generate memes." Vexthor's crystalline form shimmered with frustration. "This must be a deception. No species has ever reacted this way to first contact." "What of their leaders?" "Their global council issued a statement suggesting that if we're peaceful, we should join something called TikTok and participate in their challenges. If we're hostile, they recommended we, quote, 'catch these hands.'" "Translate that last phrase," Vexthor ordered. "Our linguistics eye is confused, sir. It appears to be both a threat and an invitation to dance. Context is unclear." The High Admiral turned back to the holographic display, watching Earth's cities glitter in the darkness. Every invasion scenario they had prepared for assumed a rational response from the target species, but humans weren't following any known pattern of behavior. "Perhaps," Linka ventured carefully, "we should consider direct contact. Our anthropological division suggests that humans often respond better to, as they say, putting a face to the name, and risk the entire galaxy seeing our Supreme Commander doing these dance challenges. The collective would lose all credibility." "Sir," a junior analyst interrupted, their crystalline form vibrating with urgency. "We're detecting a massive surge in Earth's data networks. They're organizing something." Finally, Vexthor thought, the real response begins. They're creating an event called Intergalactic Dance-Off 2525. First Contact Party. Current RSVP count is 3 billion humans. The High Admiral's exoskeleton nearly cracked from stress. How can they be this casual about first contact? We've seen their historical records. They're capable of warfare, of strategic thinking. They've had their own internal conflicts. Why aren't they taking this seriously? Linka's neural tendrils pulsed thoughtfully. Sir, there's a human concept I've been studying. They call it trolling. It's a form of psychological warfare that involves. She was interrupted by a new alert. The holographic display automatically switched to show a new transmission spreading across Earth's networks. It was a human in formal attire, standing behind a podium. In response to our new galactic neighbors, the human began. Earth is proud to announce the launch of our new interstellar cultural exchange program. We're calling it Space Vibes Only. To our alien friends, if you're seeing this, you're invited to humanity's biggest party yet. Bring snacks. Vexthor watched in horror as the announcement was met with global celebration. Humans everywhere were already planning outfits, designing party decorations, and debating what food to serve to beings they knew nothing about. High Admiral, Linka said softly, I'm beginning to think we may have miscalculated. Their response isn't a lack of response. It's a response we can't understand, Vexthor finished. And that makes them more dangerous than any military force we've ever encountered. Send word to the collective. We need new protocols. How does one invade a species that turns your invasion into a party? As if in answer, another alert sounded. Humans had just launched a satellite specifically designed to broadcast their music into space. Its name, the Galactic Aux Cord. Vexthor's crystalline form dimmed slightly. Sometimes, he mused, the most terrifying opponent is the one who refuses to acknowledge they're in a fight at all. 3 standard weeks had passed since the Zendari Collective's first contact attempt, and strategic analyst Linka was beginning to understand why some species developed anxiety disorders. She watched the stream of Earth's data transmission scroll across her neural interface, each new piece of information making less sense than the last. Status report. High Admiral Vexthor commanded as he materialized on the observation deck, his crystalline form refracting the pale light of Earth's moon. Sir, they've started a betting pool, Linka replied, her tendrils twitching with confusion. On our invasion plans. Their defensive strategies. No, sir. They're betting on what we look like. The current favorite theory is, and I quote, probably something like sparkly space jellyfish, because that would be dope. She paused, checking her translations. Apparently, dope is a positive assessment. Vexthor's exterior facets darkened with frustration. What of their scientific community? Surely they must be taking this seriously. They are conducting research, sir, but Linka's bioluminescence flickered uncertainly. They're focusing on creating something called universal party snacks that would be safe for any alien biology. Their top cynobiologists are collaborating with something called Master Chef to develop, as they put it, snacks that slap across the galaxy. The High Admiral's crystalline structure emitted a low frequency of distress. Show me their military movements. The holographic display sprang to life, showing various Earth defense installations. Nothing seemed amiss, except for the massive speakers being installed at every major base. They're calling it Operation Good Vibes, Linka explained. Their military leaders have apparently decided that since we responded to their dance videos, music might be the universal language. This must be a deception, Vexthor insisted, his crystal segments shifting anxiously. No species survives to achieve spaceflight by being this casual. Linka suggested, actually, sir, I've been analyzing their historical records. Humans have a disturbing pattern of achieving major breakthroughs while apparently not taking anything seriously. They discovered penicillin by accident, invented the microwave because someone's chocolate melted, and their first steps toward artificial intelligence began with teaching computers to make memes. A junior analyst interrupted, their crystalline form vibrating with urgency. Sir, we're detecting unusual activity in their academic sector. Define unusual, Vexthor demanded. Several of their universities have started offering courses in extraterrestrial party planning, and cross-cultural cosmic communication through dance. But that's not the concerning part. The analysts' crystals pulsed with anxiety. They're actually solving complex theoretical physics problems through these courses. One student accidentally derived a new unified field theory while planning an anti-gravity dance floor. Linka's neural tendrils coiled thoughtfully. "Sir, I'm beginning to see a pattern. Every time humans appear to be at their most frivolous, they're actually at their most dangerous," Vexthor finished. "Show me their global defense networks." The display shifted, showing Earth's satellite system. Everything seemed normal, except, why are there so many new satellites labeled space Wi-Fi boosters? Vexthor asked, his tone suggesting he already feared the answer. "They claim it's to ensure smooth streaming for the first contact party," Linka replied. "But our analysis suggests they're actually creating the most sophisticated communication network we've ever encountered. They're calling it Social Media 2.0, now with more space." Vexthor's crystalline form trembled slightly. "They're building a planetary defense system under the guise of party planning. But why? Why maintain this facade?" "Sir," the junior analyst interrupted again, "you might want to see this. Humans have just announced something called the Galactic Friendship Initiative." The display showed crowds of humans gathering in major cities, carrying signs with messages like "ET phone home," "For pizza night," and "Make space friends, not space war." But beneath the seemingly innocent celebrations, Linka's sensors detected sophisticated energy signatures unlike anything in the collective's database. "Their friendship bracelets appear to be equipped with quantum entanglement devices," she reported. "Their party lights are actually advanced scanning arrays, and their playlist sharing app contains enough processing power to run a small planet's worth of defense systems. All this technology, hidden in plain sight behind a veneer of fun," Vexthor mused. "It's brilliant and terrifying. How do you assess the threat level of a species that responds to potential invasion by planning the galaxy's biggest party?" "Sir," Linka ventured, "perhaps we should consider that this is their strategy. While we've been trying to understand their response, they've mobilized their entire planet, advanced their technology, and united their population, all without firing a single shot or triggering any of our threat protocols." The High Admiral stared at the gleaming blue planet below. "Send word to the collective. The humans aren't ignorant or unprepared. There's something far more dangerous. They're innovative. And they've somehow turned first contact into a game that they're winning without anyone realizing they're playing." Just then, another alert sounded. Earth was broadcasting a new message into space. "Hey aliens, we just invented something called space tacos. Come try them before they get cold." Vexthor's crystalline form dimmed to nearly black. "Sometimes," he whispered, "the most effective weapon is the one that doesn't look like a weapon at all." The emergency alert echoed through the Zendari flagship's crystalline corridors, its frequency causing the entire vessel to resonate. High Admiral Vexthor materialized on the command deck, his usually orderly crystal structure showing signs of stress fractures. "Report," he demanded, as Linka's neural tendrils frantically interfaced with multiple data streams. "Sir, it's happening across all frequencies. Every communication channel in the fleet is being—" She paused, her bioluminescence flickering in disbelief. "They're being flooded with something humans call memes." The main display crystallized into existence, showing a cascade of images flooding through the Zendari communication networks. Pictures of small Earth creatures with amusing text overlays, videos that ended abruptly at crucial moments. Something called rickrolls that seemed to serve no purpose yet was spreading exponentially through their systems. "How?" Vexthor's voice resonated with barely contained fury. "Our quantum encryption is unbreakable. Our firewalls are based on crystalline computing that no organic mind could comprehend." "Sir," a junior analyst interrupted, their form vibrating with urgency, "you need to see this. It's from Earth's primary defense coordination center." The display shifted to show a human in what appeared to be sleeping attire, sitting in front of multiple screens, sipping from a container labeled "World's Best Hacker." No, really, I mean it this time. "Hey, space friends," the human began cheerfully. "So, funny story. Remember all those party planning apps we've been making? Turns out they were really good at mapping quantum communication networks. Who knew, right? Anyway, we figured since we're all going to be galaxy buddies soon, we should share some of our culture with you. We're calling it Operation Coffee Break, because everything's better with caffeine and cat videos." Vexthor's crystalline structure emitted a frequency of pure distress. They weaponized their entertainment networks. "Not exactly weaponized, sir," Linka corrected, her tendrils processing new data streams. "They've created what they're calling a galactic social media platform. It's simultaneously the most sophisticated communication network we've ever encountered, and a collection of what they call shitposts." "Translate that last term," Vexthor ordered. "Our linguistics just crashed trying. I believe the closest equivalent in our language would be deliberately non-optimal communication designed to provoke emotional response." The display continued showing the human, who was now demonstrating something called a TikTok dance, while explaining complex quantum networking principles. Somehow, they were managing to make advanced theoretical physics understandable through choreographed movement and something called viral challenges. "Sir," another analyst reported, "the infection, they're calling it sharing, has reached the collective's central command. They're starting to respond." "What do you mean, respond?" Vexthor demanded. The display split to show multiple Zendari command ships. To his horror, Vexthor watched as crystalline beings began attempting to replicate human dance moves, sharing their own versions of memes, and engaging in something called comment threads. "It's not just us," Linka reported, her tendrils pulsing with a mixture of awe and concern. "Every spacefaring civilization within range is being pulled into their network. The Arcturians are sharing recipes. The quantum hive mind is hosting something called a Blitzstream. Even the silicon consciousness is trying to understand something called vibe check." This was their plan all along, Vexthor realized, his crystal structure resonating with sudden understanding. While we were trying to decode their military strategy, they were building something far more powerful, a cultural network that makes traditional warfare impossible. How can you maintain hostile intentions when you're participating in something called a dance challenge with your enemy? The human on the display was now explaining their strategy, still sipping from their massive coffee container. "See, we figured war is just what happens when people can't communicate properly. So we thought, why not skip the whole epic space battle thing and go straight to cultural exchange? It's way more fun, and nobody's ship gets scratched. Plus, have you guys tried coffee yet? Because seriously, it's going to blow your minds. Well, assuming you have minds. No judgment if you don't." "Sir," Linka interjected, "the collective is accepting their terms. Actually, most of the collective's leadership is currently engaged in something called a Reddit AMA." Vexthor watched as centuries of military doctrine and strategic planning crumbled in the face of humanity's most powerful weapon. Their ability to turn anything, even potential interstellar war, into a trending topic. "They've achieved in 3 weeks what our diplomats couldn't achieve in millennia," he mused. "They've united the galaxy through memes and hot beverages. And cats," Linka added. "The quantum hive mind is particularly fond of those. They've started a petition to establish an intergalactic cat appreciation day." Just then, the human on screen held up a new beverage container. "Oh hey, we just invented something called Space Latte. It's coffee, but with edible sparkles that form constellation patterns. We're calling it Starbooks. Get it? Because space and books. And, never mind, just come try it. First rounds on Earth." Vexthor's crystalline form shifted through several colors before settling on a resigned blue. "Send word to the fleet. Operation Coffee Break is not their attack strategy. It's their victory celebration. And somehow, we're all invited. As if in response, a new notification pinged across the command deck. You have been invited to join the group Galaxy's Greatest Dance Moves, now with more species. The Zendari flagship's observation deck had been hastily converted into what humans called a coffee shop. High Admiral Vexthor sat at what had once been his tactical planning station, now adorned with small decorative plants and something called a motivation poster featuring a cat hanging from a branch with the text, "Hang in there." The latest statistics, sir, Linka reported, her neural tendrils interfacing with a device humans had dubbed the Space Net. Our military efficiency has decreased by 47%, but our cultural exchange index has increased by 3,000%. Also, the collective's new TikTok account has just reached 1 trillion followers. Vexthor's crystalline structure shimmed with what had become a familiar mixture of resignation and amazement. And the friendship algorithm. The main display materialized, showing a complex web of interconnected networks spanning the known galaxy. At its center was Earth, pulsing with an ever-expanding array of social connections, cultural exchanges, and something humans called trending topics. It's evolving, sir, Linka admitted. The humans didn't just create a social network. They've somehow engineered a self-improving system for intergalactic cooperation. Every meme shared, every cultural reference exchanged, every collab strengthens the connections between species. Show me the latest developments, Vexthor ordered, taking a sip from his world's most confused admiral mug, a gift from the human delegation. The display shifted through various scenes across the galaxy. The Silicon Consciousness had started a cooking show called Bites to Bites. The Quantum Hive Mind was hosting virtual reality tea parties, where participants existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Even the notoriously reclusive Dark Matter Collective had joined something called Space Instagram. Sir, a junior analyst called out, their crystals pulsing with excitement. The humans have just announced something new. They're calling it the Great Galactic Bake-Off. Another of their entertainment programs. Vexthor asked wearily. Not exactly, sir. They've somehow turned it into a platform for sharing advanced molecular gastronomy techniques. Species are learning about each other's biochemistry through cooking shows. Linka's tendrils twisted in what had become her equivalent of a smile. The Arcturians have already submitted a recipe for zero-gravity soufflé that accidentally solved 3 outstanding problems in quantum physics. And the military implications? Vexthor asked, more out of habit than necessity. Well, Linka consulted her data streams. The collective's war council has been reformed into something called the Content Creation Committee. They're currently working on a series called Glow Up Tips for Crystalline Beings. The display shifted to show various Zendari commanders enthusiastically demonstrating how to achieve maximum sparkle in different lighting conditions. Vexthor's external facets darkened slightly in embarrassment. But perhaps most significantly, Linka continued, the humans have introduced something they call collaborative playlists. Species that were on the brink of war last month are now arguing about music selections for the first annual Galactic Festival. Just then, the display lit up with a new transmission from Earth. A panel of humans sat before a massive array of screens, looking both professional and somehow completely at ease. Hey, space friends, the lead human began. So, we've been thinking, since everyone's been sharing so much cool stuff, why not make it official? We're launching what we call the friendship algorithm. It's like a dating app, but for matching different species based on shared interests. Want to learn about quantum computing? We'll match you with a Silicon Consciousness member who's into teaching. Curious about multidimensional art? There's a dark matter collective artist looking for collaborators. Vexthor watched as the announcement was met with immediate enthusiasm across the galaxy. Species that had never communicated were suddenly finding common ground through shared interests in everything from theoretical physics to something humans called fanfiction. They've turned the entire galaxy into one giant social network, he mused. But more than that, they've made it impossible to maintain isolation or hostility. How can you consider war with a species that just helped you perfect your baking technique? Sir, Linka interrupted, her tendrils pulsing with amusement. The collective's High Council is requesting your presence. They're organizing something called a karaoke night. The High Admiral's crystalline structure briefly flickered with horror. Please tell me that doesn't involve public singing. Yes, sir. The humans are particularly insistent that everyone participates. They say it's good for morale. Just then, another notification pinged across the command deck. You've been matched with a human barista interested in crystalline resonance frequencies for music composition. Common interests: coffee, quantum harmonics, trying new things. Vexthor stared at the notification for a long moment. You know, Linka, I'm beginning to understand their strategy. They haven't just prevented war, they've made it obsolete. Why fight when you can collaborate on a playlist instead? Speaking of collaboration, Linka added, the humans have just announced their next project, Space Got Talent. They're suggesting you enter with your crystal harmonics. The High Admiral's form briefly flashed with every color in the spectrum before settling on a resigned pink. Send word to the fleet. The age of warfare is over. The age of social media influence has begun. May the first ones help us all. As if in response, the ship's communication system began playing something called Space Jam. Apparently, it had been selected as the official anthem of the newly formed Galactic Cultural Exchange Program. One standard year after first contact, the Zendari flagship's bridge had become unrecognizable. Gone were the austere crystalline displays and tactical interfaces, replaced by comfortable lounging areas and something humans called a snack bar. High Admiral Vexthor, his crystalline structure now deliberately polished to catch the light in what humans called aesthetic ways, sat in a custom-designed ergonomic chair reviewing the latest galactic statistics. Final report on Operation Coffee Break. Linka announced, her neural tendrils now decorated with small, glittering accessories from Earth's space jewelry collection. The results are, well, unprecedented doesn't begin to cover it. Show me, Vexthor said, taking a sip from his Galaxy's Best Boss mug. His collection had grown considerably. The holographic display, now enhanced with what humans called good vibes lighting, sprang to life. It showed a galaxy transformed. Former war fleets had been converted into cultural exchange vessels. Military bases had become streaming content creation studios. The most advanced AI systems in the universe were being used to optimize something called playlist algorithms. The humans have essentially gamified peace, Linka explained, pulling up charts that somehow incorporated both serious data analysis and something called emoji analytics. They turned intergalactic relations into what they call a massive multiplayer game. Explain, Vexthor requested, though he had a feeling he already knew where this was going. Well, sir, remember their friendship algorithm. It's evolved. They've created what they're calling Galaxy Quest, no relation to the Earth entertainment product of the same name. It's a system where species earn cooperation points through cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and creative projects. The display showed various achievements being unlocked across the galaxy. The Silicon Consciousness had just earned the Master Chef badge for their innovative approach to digital cuisine. The Dark Matter Collective had achieved viral status for their mesmerizing, multidimensional art installations. And the military implications, Vexthor asked, more out of tradition than anything else. That's the brilliant part, sir. Linka's tendrils pulsed with excitement. They've made peace more profitable than war. Species earn more clout, their term for social capital, by sharing knowledge and creating content than they ever could through conquest. The Arcturians just traded their entire battle fleet for a state-of-the-art streaming studio. Just then, a new alert chimed, a pleasant sound humans had called notification aesthetics. Earth was broadcasting again. this time from what appeared to be a massive celebration. "What's up, Galaxy fam?" a human representative began, using what had become the standard greeting for interstellar communications. "Big news. We've just hit 1 quadrillion subscribers to our shared network, so you know what that means. It's time for the first annual Galaxy Games." Vexthor's crystalline structure vibrated with curiosity. "Galaxy Games?" The human continued. "We're talking massive multiplayer events across all species, virtual reality sports that break the laws of physics, cross-species talent shows, and the grand final, a galaxy-wide game of Among Us where the imposter could literally be in another dimension." The response was immediate. Across the galaxy, species that had once prepared for war were now excitedly forming teams and discussing strategies for games that hadn't even been invented yet. "Sir," Linka reported, her tendrils processing multiple data streams, "the Collective's High Council has just allocated our entire military budget to something called Esports Division. They're particularly excited about something called Minecraft Quantum Edition." Vexthor watched as the display showed various scenes from across the galaxy. The Quantum Hive Mind was hosting tryouts for their gaming team. The Silicon Consciousness had developed a whole new programming language just for creating custom emotes. Even the most militant species were now channeling their competitive instincts into elaborate cosplay competitions. "They've done it," he mused, his crystalline form reflecting the soft lights of the celebration broadcasts. "They've created a system where peace isn't just the preferred option. It's the most entertaining one." Speaking of entertainment, Linka interjected, "Earth has just announced the theme for next month's Galactic Film Festival, First Contact Stories, a comedy special. They're particularly interested in our perspective on the whole invasion that turned into a party incident." Vexthor's structure briefly flickered with embarrassment. "Are they ever going to let us live that down?" "No, sir." Linka's tendrils twisted in amusement. "They've already turned it into what they call a classic meme. But look at it this way, we're now the most famous example of their favorite thing. A plot twist with a happy ending." Just then, the ship's AI, recently upgraded with what humans called Personality Plus, announced, "Attention all crew members. The intergalactic game night is about to begin. Today's featured game is Space Charades, Quantum Edition. Please remember the new rule, no using telepathy to cheat." Vexthor rose from his chair, his crystalline form now deliberately catching the light in what he had learned was a dramatically appropriate way. "Send word to the fleet, though I suppose we should start calling it the Culture Chord now. The galaxy isn't just at peace. It's at play. And somehow, that's turned out to be the most stable state of all." As if to punctuate his words, a new notification appeared. "Congratulations, you've unlocked the achievement. From War to War Games, A Galaxy's Journey. Bonus points awarded for dramatic character development." The High Admiral's form shifted through a rainbow of colors before settling on a peaceful blue. "You know, Linka, I think the humans were right all along. The best way to prevent a war isn't through weapons or strategies. It's through making peace more fun than conflict could ever be." And speaking of fun, Linka added, "You're scheduled to judge the Galaxy's Got Talent finals in an hour. The Dark Matter Collective's interpretive dance team is favored to win." As the Zendari flagship cruised through space, its crystalline hull now decorated with what humans called mood lighting, the sound of laughter, music, and excited chatter echoed through its corridors. The Great Galactic War had never happened. Instead, the galaxy had gotten game night, and somehow that had made all the difference.